Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are, whatever you're doing, and welcome to another episode of the Daily Red for Anfield Index. It is Sunday, the 16th of November, and it's a bit of a weird one, isn't it, ladies and gents, because it's still in the international break. There's still games today, there's games tomorrow, there's Liverpool players that touch wood. We are hoping getting back safely, but naturally, all that nonsense will be done soon, and you're focusing on the running coming, aren't you? The Forest, PSV, the other games coming up, and how Liverpool have to do in this period. There's also, of course, bits going on off the pitch. There's various links, there's various talks. There's a certain Frenchman who dropped a few lines, didn't he, at the same time yesterday as well. So there is a million and one things as ever to talk about. I'm your normal host, Dave Davis, coming to you from it's the trades descriptions bastard in Edinburgh right now. Because I don't know if you can see, I've even got the blinds down. The sun is out, so you would think it's glorious, but it is about 2 or 3 degrees. It's cold. You can see your breath. So it's an absolute lie. Fingers crossed, wherever you are in the world, it is a little bit better. But let's get into it straight away, ladies and gents. What are the latest headlines? What is doing the rounds? If I take one scan over the Anfield Index website. And I can see here, interestingly, Liverpool's Van Dijk's successor, named by fellow countrymen, a picture of Mickey van der Ven, one to talk about there. Guehi January move possible, according to teammate. I'll tell you what, we wouldn't mind a bit of that, the way things are going right now. So we'll be having a look at that. Antoine Semenyo back in the mix. And Elliot Anderson talk about being targeted there as well. So there is plenty, as well as the internationals, of course, to get into. Now, the first thing, I'll keep this quite simple and brief. Elliot Anderson, unbelievable talent. Absolute joke that Newcastle let him go in that FFP deal, and they let Minter go as well. What sort of business was that, wasn't it? All to keep Tony Gordon. Yeesh. But why am I talking about Elliot Anderson? You will have seen, you have watched him this season. You'd have seen various bits online through X, social media, etc., that he profiles well. He would be a brilliant option for us. Zero doubt about it. Would I love Elliot Anderson to end up at Anfield? 1,000%. No doubt about it at all. However, got to be honest on this, doing a bit of digging and trying to look into this for Anfield Index as we do, speaking to sort of agents, journalists, and different bits. It seems almost I don't call it an industry secret, something that's just spoken about that isn't a secret almost. Elliot Anderson has been in talks with Manchester United, and they have made a big play for him. And also, when I say big play, we're talking, how to put it, you know the wages United plays or pay. So that is my information right now. Again, would I love Elliot Anderson to end up at Liverpool? 1,000%. But it sounds like United have done a lot of the groundwork, put an attractive offer on the table. The fee would be involved. I don't think it'd be realistic for January anyway, especially in a World Cup year and Elliot Anderson's ambitions. So yeah, maybe one that sort of popping the balloon on, as much as I would love it at the same time as well. He's right to talk as well a little bit about the internationals, because there were games yesterday and there are ones coming up today. So you have a bit of a scroll down here from the official website. Alexander Isak played minutes for Sweden, so we'll talk about that a little bit on what he said. Robbo played for Scotland. Marmadashvili, as they were hammered by Spain as well. Robbo, I don't know if you see this as a good thing at all. Robbo did play for Scotland. Scotland did lose, didn't they, to Greece? They were 3-0 down. They rallied a bit till 3-2. And Robbo got a great assist, to be fair. The only thing I don't like, to be honest, is he looked absolutely knackered at the end of it. And Robbo is right now our first choice left back. I don't think you can avoid that at all with what's happened this season. So our first choice left back is sweating his guts out for Scotland. Yeah, gets a great assist, but looks tired. And then Scotland have also got the second game against Denmark. I think it's a kind of a winner takes all. Yes, Chill's there, obviously identifying where he's from, saying we go through if we beat Denmark. So obviously I wish Robbo good luck in that. I want Scotland to qualify, you know, it's where I'm living. But from a Liverpool perspective, he's going to be absolutely shagged when he comes back because you know he's going to put it all on the line. In terms of the youth boys as well, Trey and Rio and Gamoa both played for England under-19s in an absolute pummeling of Latvia, 7-0, I think it was, in the end. And Rio and Gamoa scores an unbelievable goal into the far corner, which is absolutely great. Probably just great that they're playing some football at the moment, hasn't it? Because there's been that period where Rio's played no games at all for any of the levels of Liverpool. And also, Trey, we heard Rob Page, the under-21 manager, talk about that. It's not been the best for him recently, has it? So great that he is getting minutes as well. Will it mean anything for Liverpool? Probably not in terms of the senior side, but at least it's a little fill-up for them, isn't it? More than anything. In terms of games today, international-wise, you are looking a bit with bated breath. And even sort of today and tomorrow, to be honest, thinking, come on, just get through these. So Florian Wirtz will be playing for Germany later on, 7:45 kickoff. You'll have Connor Bradley playing for Northern Ireland against Luxembourg. He might be again in that midfield position, which you talked about as well. And then, bloody hell, half the squad's playing against Lithuania at home later. You'll have Virgil, Ryan Gravenberch, Cody Gakpo. So there's a number in the mix today, isn't there, importantly? And that's clearly the wrong day anyway. Sorry, that's tomorrow. But today, here's the ones. France, Ekitike, Hungary, Zabozlai, and Milos Kerkez. So if you look there, that's probably, I mean, we've got no one in the England squad, but 3. In fact, so you've got 8 or 9 players in the mix today and tomorrow. So let's just be completely honest. You're praying for no injuries. You're praying for, ideally, some of them wouldn't start as well because they've already qualified. There's friendlies and bits like that. So let's hope that comes into the mix. Barry asking there, will Isak get back to form this season or more likely in new formation post-Salah? We'll kind of talk a little bit about both here. And there was a bit of an update on both, important to say. The Mo Salah, that came from, shout out to Ismail Mahmood, always good for news around the internationals. Mo Salah will be rested for Egypt's upcoming match against Cape Verde, following a decision made by the head coach. Probably a good thing. Maybe, resting Mo because there's an important period coming up. And maybe that's, I suppose it might be a sweetener for what's to come because we know there's still this debate of when is Mo Salah going to leave for AFCON? Because Egypt wants him before. Salah wants to stay and obviously as far into the Christmas and New Year period as he can. It's something the pair will need to sort. But Mo Salah rested for these coming games, definitely the best thing. In terms of Alexander Isak, has been mentioned by a few in the chat panel. He spoke. Now, he played 30 minutes as Sweden got absolutely battered by Switzerland. It's been a horrendous qualifying campaign for them. It cost John Dole Thomason his job. You've got Graham Potter now in charge, but he was honest about his half hour. It was about half an hour. It felt okay. Hopefully, I can play properly in the next match, which is Slovenia on Tuesday. It's always been straight in when you're injured. It hasn't been optimal, but when I'm on the field, I don't give myself any excuses. I always want to play my game and perform. It's funny that, isn't it? Because talking in terms of excuses and the situation, Arne Slot said a few weeks ago, now's the time to start judging Alexander Isak, and he hasn't played a single minute for Liverpool since that time. He's had that groin injury, which put him out for 3 and a bit weeks. He's now back. He's playing games for Sweden. I said it yesterday, so I can't change the line. You never knew how long he was going to get yesterday. It turned out to be half an hour. But you kind of want to see, even if it's Tuesday, and I know Sweden are gash at the moment, but you want to see Alexander Isak putting the ball in the back of that net, the muscle memory to return. Because so far, this campaign, he's got no... And there's all mitigation for it, the pre-season, the injuries and all those bits. But this campaign as a whole, he's got a goal in the Carabao Cup. Now, I know when you stack up all his minutes together, it doesn't make for that long, and the same with Sweden, in and out. But you have paid £125 million for the services of Alexander Isak. Again, there's mitigation and reasons for it, but with this run coming up and everything that's going on, you do want to kind of see him start putting a return to that tag, don't you? More than anything. If you're going to spend 125 million and let it rumble all summer, and I know there's the easy line to go, it's not for the next 5 months, it was for the next 5 years, but it would be nice to see some sort of return in the short term and get him into the team. We'll have to see if that happens in the next few weeks. In terms of other big signings, Florian Wirtz's dad was chatting as well after his recent game with Germany, saying less than a third of the season has been played. So far, everything is going as expected. It's a completely normal settling in process, entirely independent of any transfer fees. And if you look at the statistics more closely, you can see Florian's stats regarding his involvement in the game are already quite good. Only assists and goals are still pending. Interesting, isn't it? Because that's Florian Wirtz's dad, closest advisor, plays a key part in his career. And it's interesting to see him talking about the fact that they're obviously aware of the stats. You'll have probably seen the Opta ones yourself, that he's top, isn't he, for things like chances created, big chances as well, expected assists. It's just that there's been quite often, as we've seen, where his teammates aren't sticking the ball in the back of the net or they're not squaring it to him at the right times, which probably Mo Salah has been a bit guilty of on a number of occasions as well. So that would, increase those stats. But the underlying numbers are quite decent. The reason I picked out those two, ladies and gents, is as we move into this part of the season where there's no international breaks, bar AFCON, of course, until late on, you want it to now see okay, there's been reasons, there's been mitigation, but Salah is away to AFCON, Isak and Wirtz, let's start delivering soon, because that would just shut everything up, wouldn't it, across the board? Yes, there's reasons. Yes, there's mitigation, but no one shuts anything or everyone up, like winning football matches, scoring goals, and all those types of things. But despite all that, that is not the biggest talking point that probably came out yesterday. The biggest talking point probably came from this man, Ibu, talking about his contract on international duty and serialized quotes in a number of places, to be fair. I know it's attributed to Foot Mercato, but there's a number of places that have serialized these quotes now, so they are important. What did he say? He said, I've seen a lot of things in the press recently, like Liverpool have made me a new offer. I don't know where that's coming from. My agents are continuing discussions with Liverpool. I hope my decision will be made very soon so I can announce it. My agents are still in discussion with Liverpool, and I hope my decisions will be made very soon so I can announce it. It's funny he said that. I don't know where it's coming from. Well, let's be honest on this. As Ibu has said before in his last official quotes, to these official quotes as well, his agents are in discussion with Liverpool. So it kind of only comes out, Ibu, to almost criticise or try and rubbish reports. But if his agents have been speaking to Liverpool for this long, are we really believing there's no sort of, call it a verbal offer that's been made? Of course there has, for freak's sake. Of course they're trying to do a deal. So of course there's going to have been those discussions at the same time. So it's a little bit like, I'm just surprised Ibu only comes out or tweets or mentions something to pour scorn on it. I'm not sure that helps particularly. What I kind of hope, and it was that big line, isn't it? I hope my decision will be made very soon so I can announce it. I think we all do. I think that come the January window, and there's no guarantee, it might well rumble on, don't get me wrong, but come the January window, we want to know what Ibu's doing, doesn't he? Because, I mean, in, 5 weeks' time, he can sign a pre-contract agreement with an overseas club. No issue at all. Nothing we can do about it whatsoever. But we want to know, because I think we really need to start planning, don't we? We already will, don't get me wrong. But it's now a case of shit or get off the pot, as Trev said the other night. You're on the bus or you're off it. Whatever analogy you want to use, Liverpool need to know if Ibu is on board for the long term or not. And if he's not, and I've got to be honest, all the signs, he says, I hope my decision will be made very soon. A lot of people jumped on it like, that's good, that's a positive. Well, maybe it's just an announcement that I think many of us expect. No one wants to end up with things like this on the pitch or things like this on the pitch either, do we? You know the signs, you know who made them. And it's interesting because Nems there says Konate stays. I'm not sure, Nems. I'm not sure anyone particularly. It's all speculation, isn't it? But if I was to bet right now, the smart money I still think leads towards, something a little bit different and somewhere that isn't Anfield particularly. But we'll see anyway what happens. In terms of what might happen in January, this still rumbles on, doesn't it? And weirdly, a player that we would like in the form of Adam Wharton threw a little bit of petrol on the old Marc Guehi talk yesterday as well, didn't he? Because there's naturally been parts of what's going to happen with Marc Guehi. You've had Romano, you've had Ornstein, you've had Joyce all saying it won't be in January particularly. But he didn't shy away from it. I mean, look at these quotes from Adam Wharton, a fellow Crystal Palace player, it's important to say. There's obviously so much speculation. I think it's pretty obvious. I think it came out that he wasn't going to sign a new deal. And to be fair, Glasner said the same. He's not going to sign a new deal. They know that. So, yeah, I think obviously he's a top defender. You've seen it week out, week in the Premier League. You've seen it in the Euros and after that for England. It's probably just a case, this is a good line, where he goes. I hope he stays until the summer so we can have him for a bit longer. We will have to see. Yeah, there's no Adam Wharton saying he's definitely going to stay till January. And of course, Adam Wharton's not going to come out publicly. I understand and declare that. But you do just wonder if Konate, we know by January, is departing. This is the $1 million question. What do Liverpool do? Because if you know Konate is departing in January, you know you need at least a minimum of 2 centre-halves, as in, Gomez is going to go, of course, Konate as well. For me, I think you need 3. So surely you make a move for at least 1 in January, or bugger me, you leave yourself so much to do in the summer. It's unreal. It will be fascinating to see what happens on this one. On Ibu, who's talking, on Guehi, where his teammates are talking. We'll have to see. In terms of one that I can't see this at all. There's been a lot of talk online about this one. Mickey van der Ven. Rapid, left-footed, scoring, never thought I'd say top scorer, I think, for Spurs, isn't he, at the same time? And I've seen a lot of Liverpool fans and links to him in this one. And then here's a proper name for Barclays men. Khalid Boularus. Do you remember he used to be at Chelsea, a Dutchman, saying that he's the perfect successor across the board for him? Look at this. He really stands out. He's physically strong and incredibly fast. Opponents know that, so they don't even try to get past him anymore. He could be better on the ball sometimes, and he makes the occasional mistake. But overall, I think he's fantastic. I think he's the ideal successor to Virgil van for both the Dutch national team and Liverpool. No. Absolutely not. Do I rate him as a player? Yes. Do I like it? I think he's quick. Yes. Is there a lot of things to like about Mickey van der Ven? Yes, absolutely. Good on the ball, strong, rapid, one-on-one, so good. Dutch, yeah, there's that famous picture in it when he was at Wolfsburg. We had a look at it then, but Schmadtke didn't, pull the plug, didn't want to go for it. So I get all that. But let's just end this debate now, because I'm going to give you some numbers which are pretty scary overall. 32, 51, 39 and 12. Those are the 4 occurrences of injuries Mickey van der Ven had last season, and the amount of days he missed with those injuries. So even at the end of last season, 32 days with a thigh problem, so missed 6 games for Spurs. His hamstring injury alone, you forget he came back and then got injured straight away, didn't he? So just for his hamstring injury, 90 days injured. 3 months or so with his hammy, where he missed 24 games for Spurs. So that's 30 missed. And then you forget right at the start of the season, he had that knee injury where he's out for 12 days as well, so just shy of 2 weeks. So when you actually stack it up, he missed 32 games for Spurs last season. No. I mean, that's a sort of a record to rival Naby Keita and things like that, isn't it? So Mickey van der Ven is just a straight no. And if you think, it's a one-off season, well, with his hammies in 23-24, do you remember the season before? He actually missed 76. Or, more importantly, 16 games. I mean, those numbers are startling. That injury record startling. Are Liverpool going to move a Mickey van der Ven? No. Just like everything stacks up against that. Just important to say. In terms of a younger Dutch player that actually does seem to be interesting, and I'm probably going to pronounce his name wrong here, so apologies to all my Dutch colleagues. This one, AZ Alkmaar. Kees Schmidt, I think it's pronounced. I'm probably butchering his name. 19 years old, a proper talent, doing well in the Dutch league. And when you see certain things, or from watching the footage, there is a talented player there, without doubt. But Liverpool moving for this kid, I mean, he's got a profile as a midfielder or attacking midfielder. He makes over 4 shots per 90 in the 94th percentile. His expected goals, his assisted goals is good. There's lots of things to like in terms of carries and take-ons. But again, one that comes right into the first team, I just don't see it. So there's 2 Dutchmen, Kees Schmidt, Mickey van der Ven. Do I think they end up at Liverpool? No. And especially if we make a move for Mickey van der Ven, there's a lot of question marks. That's probably one to rule out. In terms of other things, this is one that's getting a lot of traction. I think it's just because of how bad we are right now. People are overinflating the good, is what I'm going to say on this. So Luis Diaz, God was talking about him, saying, I'm actually genuinely surprised that not more has been made of how much Liverpool are missing him. Luis Diaz is one of those players who can unlock defences. So I think they have genuinely missed him. But Liverpool have missed a replacement for Luis Diaz. Let's not mix this up whatsoever. 28 years old, time left on his deal, not wanting to, he wanted a big deal. We weren't going to renew. 65 million from Bayern, good business. It was good business, though, as long as you got a suitable replacement. And, we were told repeatedly that they didn't want to block the pathway for Rio and Gamoa. That was the line from various journalists at different points. But what's actually looking like it now is you can see Slot's lack of use of Rio and Gamoa. So the only option there is Cody Gakpo on a serious basis right now. He seems reluctant to use Florian there. Yes, he's used him for the last 2, but again, He's going to have time to work his way into the system. So that comes into it. So I think they missed, a direct player, someone with a bit of pace, aggression, and that'll probably lead to Semenyo talks, as people are talking about as well. And we'll touch upon a latest. The one thing that I've got to say, though, about this Luis Diaz name was like, oh, look at the level he's gone to. This might upset German people. I don't really care. Bundesliga and the bully tax. Timo Werner was a superstar in the Bundesliga. You've seen that bully tax that we've talked about repeatedly on shows. He's playing in a one-team league. And he's tearing it up. I think most Liverpool players would. It's still good business, but you've got to replace it. Yeah, he's playing in a dominant team that are hammering everyone else. So can we stop with all the Luis Diaz is now one of the world's best players and all this? Context is everything in this mix, eh? In terms of another thing I mentioned yesterday, Fabrizio Romano confirmed it, didn't he? Liverpool were too late when they made a move not to sign Joel, and I'm probably butchering his name here, but Diner or Dennis, or however it's pronounced, because Chelsea got him yesterday. There were links with Liverpool, but Chelsea had already closed the deal. This is a sad one because the Ecuadorians always do well in the Premier League, don't they? You look at their, pedigree in terms of Antonio Valencia, Caicedo. You think about how well Pacho's done at PSG. I thought this could be a smart one, and he looks a real talent. Again, I'm not trying to echo what I said too much yesterday, but just the fact he's ended up at Chelsea could be a wilderness move for him. But we will have to see on that one. But Liverpool were interested, as I said yesterday. This one, it just won't go away. And India's retweeted it 3 times this morning, and already it's coming back. He's gone hard on this one. We've said we've done digging, and there's definite interest there. As Indy put out yesterday, Antoine Semenyo has informed Bournemouth that Liverpool is his top choice for a January move. He is convinced he can win the Champions League this season. And that wasn't the only Semenyo bit that went round. Also, you had yesterday, Liverpool will hold preliminary talks over a potential deal to sign him. He is thought to be valued at around 75 million. I don't want to kind of go over old ground, so it's more just around what's been said in the last 24 hours. If Liverpool are going to pay anywhere near 75 million for Antoine Semenyo, madness. If that's the fee, abandon it now. End the Zoom call Richard Hughes, just nonsense. I get there's ticks in the box in terms of the pace, the power, the physical stats, the things we don't have in the forward line and what he could give playing across the front liners. I get all of that. And again, it's funny, isn't it? Because Nem's there saying Semenyo will cut for us. I actually think he could be a good player. I wouldn't debate that at all. But the priorities and what we need, Guehi, defenders. I don't think we're going to get the DM as much as that's priority 1 for me in January as well. And Barry there saying, I get it. Guehi and Semenyo in January would be superb. If that was the deal you could get for January, don't lie, you would shake hands on it right now. I think those 2 players combined could make a big difference to this squad. They would not solve the DM issue ultimately, which I think we need, but it'd be a step in the right direction. However, again, fees for both, there's big question marks there. In terms of analysis, and I do a show called Fans Forum, which I love because you get some of the, the best takes and analysis. And it's come up quite a lot recently, and I don't like it. People slagging off our Fans Forum is the best. Ex-pundits talk nonsense. Like, I get all my information from stats, analysis, and fans. For me, it's both. I think that, it's come a long way in recent years, hasn't it? Stats, analysis, the insights that give us. It's on the highest level it's ever been. And it's absolutely brilliant how it allows us to understand things. And you've seen, the accounts. You'll follow things like, our up boys, of course, but Josh Williams, Sam Maguire, analysis is at the highest it's ever been, which is great. And I think it gives us real insight. But at the same time, I'm a massive believer in you get certain things from ex-pros, insights that you wouldn't see as the layman, even if you played to your mates who had trials or whatever, or semi-pros, blah, blah, blah. You do get, I think, good insights. It's a combo of both for me that's the best. So I don't like sort of slagging off professional analysis, but honestly, I usually say it's worth watching. Avoid like the plague. Sky Sports in this international break. Were Florian Wirtz and Alexander Isak really an upgrade for Liverpool? I watched this for about 2 minutes and wanted to stab my eyeballs out my head. Genuinely, I don't know why I did it. So please don't suffer that pain. So that was on Sky Sports. And then I actually really like Neil Mellor, and shout out to him. I think he does a brilliant job on LFC TV, and I get he was on this show. But the thing, should Liverpool sell Ibu Konate? Pundits debate the form as well. I mean, honestly, the first one was just horrendous. And it's not being derogatory about Neil Mellor at all. Again, as I said, I think he's brilliant on LFC TV, and I like what he does and what he tweets a lot. But should Liverpool sell Ibu Konate? Bugger me, he'll have 6 months left on his deal in January. Do you remember Real Madrid offered, was it 20 million-ish for Trent? What the hell are they going to offer you for Ibu? Probably a one bar and a chomp, aren't they? For God's sake. It is honestly, the talking points and the nature of the debate were absolutely dog turd. Please don't waste your time on anything Sky were putting out around that. That's the best advice I can give you. In terms of interesting takes, though, a former player of ours, Stan Collymore, did an evening at Hotel Anfield that you may well recognise, somewhere I usually go before the game. And he talked about media takes and the sensationalism of Liverpool's crisis. Just have a listen to this. This is one I think it's worth playing and discussing.
I would just say, just be cautious of what you read online, because we both have, because of what we do. If on any given day after the start that Liverpool have had, right up until the Villa game, I thought they played very well, is that you would genuinely think there was a massive crisis, and you would think there was a massive crisis in particular that two players that have come in as transfer records, something that I know very well here, that because they haven't got 10 assists, 15 goals each, that there's something wrong, something deeply wrong inside. I don't think there is. I think that Liverpool will be there or thereabouts. They've got to start winning games, because historically in recent years you can't afford to lose more than 4 or 5 games. But I don't think it's the crisis that a lot of people saying that it is.
See, I've got to disagree on that a little bit. And in respect to, we articulate himself well, I think there, Stan Collymore, but that doesn't mean I agree with it. You've seen Liverpool's record this season. Historically, as he said, you can't lose more than 4 or 5 games, but we already have. So that comes into the mix as well. And you can say it's not a crisis, but when Liverpool lose, was it 7 out of 10, 6 out of 7 in the Premier League? For the standard we have and the money we've spent, I think it's okay to use the word crisis. Others have used that as well. So I don't necessarily agree with that. And in regards to his expectations of saying there, Wirtz and Isak, I don't think realistically everyone's expecting like 10 goals and 15 assists, as he put it that way. However, I think we expected Wirtz to be used in more games. We didn't expect him to be left out of things like the Merseyside derby at home. Chelsea, so often as Arne Slot's almost struggled to get him in the team. I think we expected to see Alexander Isak on the pitch a bit more. You can't deny that. Probably, more than 1 goal in the Carabao Cup as well. So I kind of got what he was saying in an essence, but I didn't agree with the key points there. So that was just a little bit worth discussing as well. In terms of AI content for this one, we have got you covered all through the week, all in the build-up, all the way through to that Forest game on Saturday. So even bits, me and Trev were discussing contracts. Me and Bart's had a look at Wilfred Singo and the links there. We also had a look at Buardi, the Wirtz situation. So there's plenty there, even in the last 24 hours. Tomorrow as well, we'll have news round early doors, seeing where we are. We'll have David Lynch Media Matters around midday for you as well. I know the latest episode of Scouted's out with Dave and Carl there as well, all the way through, to a big week. And it does feel that way as well, that touch wood, everyone comes back healthy from the internationals. But at the same time, it's got to start happening for us, hasn't it? If anything is really going to be salvaged or achieve any of the aims we've got for this season, it's got to start moving and start moving fast. These games up until Christmas look very good on paper. This week on paper, when you started with 2 at home, isn't it? Forest, who are 19th. PSV, you should be beating. I think it's West Ham away, isn't it, to finish? You look at their record there as well. I think it's all right to say this, that you're expecting a 9 out of 9 week coming up. So you're also hoping you'll get everyone back. And maybe the good news is, as a lot of people are suggesting, Alisson Becker will return. Don't underestimate how big a boost that will be. We'll see, eh? Thank you for the kind comments in the chat panel. Let us hope it's a good week coming up for the Reds, eh? But Sunday, the 16th of November, that was a Daily Red for Anfield Index.